never make it out. And in the morning, I'm wondering how I'm gonna get through the night. I'm sick and weary. Only your love's gonna make it right. Yeah. Only your love, only your love. 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 Only your love, only your
Can't wait to wake to your love in the morning. This simple thing that we do. Breathe in, breathe out with you.
if I can find my way out. I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this torsion, and everything is grown up tight. There's no room to breathe, and nobody is watching at night. Who wanna rise up? Need a friend to shake me out again. Need a friend to shake me out again. I don't know if I can find my way out. In this torsion, and everything is grown up tight. There's no room to breathe. Fall into the ocean. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching in. The water is rising over me. The water is rising. It's coming. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching in. The water is rising over me. The water is rising. I'm reaching. It's coming. I'm reaching. Water is rising over me. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching. Water is rising. It's coming in. Water is rising over me. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching. It's coming.
You say you need your space, then pull me close. I read your silence, louder than most. One day you're warm, the next day you're cold. Got me second guessing what I already know. I give you love, but you ration yours. You open up just to close the door. Just to close the door. I stay up late, trying to read your mind. I can't read your mind, but your love got rules that change all the time. Change all the time. Why are you always halfway in? Got me drowning when I know I could swim.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Thought I'd come on and explain the setup here, what we're doing, to somebody that has a day off and wants to learn this whole thing. So let me get everything up and ready to do all this. Okay. So basically, the strategy here requires a lot of patience, and yeah. So you're gonna sit here a lot and wait for the right moment. But we're coming up on a potential moment right now, but I usually wait until there's quite a bit of distance between the target price, the target to beat, and otherwise known as the strike price, and where we're at. And where we're at right now is about $12 above. The obviously on the left side of the screen is Kalshi. Left side of the screen is Kalshi, so that's pretty obvious. The white box with the number in it, that is the number that Kalshi is using to determine the price. So it's significantly ahead of the chart that you're seeing on Kalshi. So that is the main number we're focused on. And you'll watch that the price on Kalshi reflects most closely to that white box. So what we're looking for here is a distance away from the strike, or the target number to beat, which is not very much right now. Yeah, I'd say 20-ish, but more like 15. So I'm not really interested. I usually don't get involved until later in the process. Usually, right now I've been getting in around 8 minutes if I feel like it's comfortable. Usually that's 7 minutes. And then if it's close like this, I wait even longer until I'm like convinced. Or I may sit out if I never get convinced. The chart on the screen uses only one indicator, and that's called we've got two indicators on the board. It's Bollinger Bands and RSI. They're about the same thing, basically. But for Bollinger Bands, when it gets close to the outer lines, the outer blue lines on that chart, it's going to tend to want to come back toward the middle. So that's when it tends to reverse, is when it hits those lines. So, for example, if you look back here today, we went up here, touched the line, crossed the line, and then started coming back, right? So it doesn't always happen right away, but pretty soon after it tends to want to come back. So I'm basically just watching when that happens, because that I feel like is a more likely thing. It's more likely that the condition I'm seeing on the chart is going to reflect what happens on Kalshi. So, and then the kind of sideways bar graphs that are moving quickly or can move quickly, that's the Coinbase order book. And I'm just watching that for basically quick movements, and it'll tell me ahead of time, because basically once I get a position, once I decide I'm in, I set a take profit, and then very soon after I get ready to do a stop loss. So I'm watching. Once I have an order on the board and I'm like managing it, I want to keep a real close eye on the white box, the CF benchmarks price, and what's happening on the order books on Coinbase. So those are the two things I'm watching as I track exit. So yeah, I have no real interest in this market at this moment. It's only $13, and anything can happen in 4.5 minutes. So this is not the kind of market I'm really interested in getting involved in. So I'll sit and I'll wait, and if we get I would say at 30 away, I might be considering it. So that would be 267. We're at 276 right now, so I might consider it at 267. And then as the clock winds down, you know, there's less time for it to reverse. So I'm starting to have my tolerances be smaller. But I'm still kind of waiting for 267. See, it didn't happen. Now it's reversing back to the center. And if we get toward the end here and it's still, I would say within 2 minutes, and it's still, there's not enough room to be sure of what's going to happen, I'm just going to be sitting out. My strategy is find high probability positions, hold them until they reach the kind of, 99 or 99.5 or 99.9 range, and take profit. And if they at all get kind of iffy, if I feel like it's like, oh, I don't know about this, I sell. And I take a loss, but a smaller loss than I would if. So basically, I'm looking really good, high probability, probably going to win. I'm going to scrape 5, 10, 15 cents off the top at the end. So this strategy has me. Yesterday was the first time in 7 days that I didn't reach 10%. It was kind of a rough day, a few losses up and down, but I still, I think I made 4%. So it was still a profitable day, but so we got over a week of profitable days in a row. But up until yesterday, it was 6 days in a row of 10% or more. So this works. It requires patience and sitting out when it's not a sure thing. Like I'm done with this one. I'm not going to be investing in this at all because it's just too close and there's too much volatility. The price can move too much in a very short amount of time. So yeah, this is not the market for me. It could be for somebody else. You could get in, if you bought up right now at 31 cents, all you need is like a little movement up and you make some big money. So anyway, that's a brief explanation-ish of kind of what we're doing here today. If you have specific questions or you didn't understand any of that long description, just let me know. It's been very volatile today. I don't know why YouTube on the phone has the emoji button right on the chat. It's been very volatile today. I don't know if it's Monday, but yeah, some daredevils be making money in this market. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and they also are losing money in this market. There's some diabolical things that can happen at the end on these. So it's rich people playing games with their money, and we're just trying to anticipate what they're going to do with that money. So yeah, I try to give myself plenty of room away from the target to get out without losing too much money, and the probability of me winning is very high. So you'll see me very often buying, almost always higher than 75 cents, and even almost always higher than 85 cents. And very often it will be 94 cents or 95 cents. It depends on the market. I appreciate that. It depends on the market and it depends on the conditions. The conditions right now it's kind of flattening out after a rise. I would expect we got a couple down-ish in a row, small down, but I could see it going down a little bit more before it bounces back. But I don't play the game of trying to guess what the market's going to do. I've done many different strategies on this. Most often, when I try to guess, I don't do well. And I think I've got it figured out, and then it just does the exact opposite of what I think it's going to do. So I've gone to a very, because I'm online, I'm mostly focused on building community and connecting with people and talking about predictive markets and sharing strategies. I'm mostly building community. I'm going to be on. I've kind of set a goal to be on 6 to 8 hours a day, 3 hours in the afternoon, 3 to 4 hours in the afternoon, 3 to 4 hours in the evening. And so to make that sustainable, I have to be very picky and choosy about what I get involved with. Because if I'm investing in every market and I have a bad day, it can go south super fast. So my strategy just fits my personality, what I'm doing with things. I think the people that copy me on this, that do this, tend to do pretty well. I mean, they're not making big money, but they're profitable most of the time. But yeah, it's not for everybody, because it's, if I were just trading and I wasn't like running a live and trying to manage the music and me talking and this window being open, because right now I haven't had this one window open, so the benchmarks number has been frozen while I haven't had that on. So I've got my focus on running this live and answering questions and stuff like that. So I usually only pick off the ones that I'm like, okay, this is a great opportunity. And we may have a great opportunity here. So this is what I'm looking for, is an energetic move away from the target to start. And the price is already at 85 cents for up. And this market loves to run up the price too much early. I'm just going to throw it, unless this keeps running away like crazy. Mark this right now. It's 12 minutes. We're at 85 cents. Let's see how much of a difference there is at 7 minutes. Almost always, it may, even if it keeps going up, it may get up to 90, maybe 92, 93. But getting in now, this early in the market, when it's this high, if you're going to do anything at this moment, you're buying 13 cents down. That's what you should be doing if you're investing, if you feel like you want to be involved now. Because that probability is probably much higher than 13%. But all that being said, I like this. This is up 100. I don't get involved until at least 7 minutes, but this one's looking like could be a possibility. Let's see here. Yes, some don't understand it's not just about price. Also, rates against the clock. Otherwise, they're playing with their money. Yeah. And I've gotten a lot better about taking losses, using a stop loss, taking losses. And how I do that is, like, let's say right now, I were to get in at right this moment. So I'd be paying 89 cents, probably buy a lot of shares, probably buy might even do 50 or 100 right now. Buy a bunch of shares, get in, set my take profit at like 99.9 or whatever, and then go back in. I showed this in my take profit stop loss video and set it to 1 cent. And now I'm going over to the CF benchmarks number, and I'm deciding, okay, where do I bail if it turns the other direction? Yeah, this one might run so far I don't even have any position to get involved with, but that's all right. We're 130 some away. So I might, if I get in right now, I might be like, all right. Initially, if it gets down to 350, 65, 350, I'm out. Because that'll protect more than 50% of my investment, that number, getting out. And then once I'm in, and I got the 350 number, as time goes by, I start raising that number, basically moving the stop loss with the current price. So anyway, I might say now, well, it's been sitting there for a while. It went up a little bit. Let's go 360 now. If it hits 360, I'm out. So just kind of moving stop loss. So like, if it moves against you at all, and you've got profit, you still can get out, make a little profit, and your risk is very low, especially when you put a large amount of contracts on the line. So that's how I manage all this. And yeah, that's my I might go back and use this video. I should have recorded this on my stream so I could use it as a video. But that's basically, I'm gonna do what I just did in my next video that I put out. Just how I'm using all the tools, what my strategy is, and yeah, all that. So basically, everything I just threw at you is like the dress rehearsal for the video I'm going to do next. So you'll see that and you'll be like, oh, that all sounds very familiar. So, all right, we're getting close to 8 minutes. We're 390. We're 120 away. Seems highly unlikely that we'll get the reversal. It's nowhere near the edge of the Bollinger Bands. So yeah, let's do it. Let's be crazy and do 50. All right, so we're in there. I mean, this is just to make, $3, $2 or $3, but so we have to be very careful because we've got a lot of contracts on the line. We're going to set the take profit to 99.9. That'd be a $3 profit. But for where my bankroll is right now, that's significant. That's a good chunk for the day. So, all right, now I'm going in. I'm going to set this to 1. As I said in the video, it doesn't give you 1. It just gives you the best price available above 1 at the time you press the button. So now the number is, before I go in here, let me review. So 275 basically. Right now it's 350 is my bailout number. So 350, 7 minutes to go. Price is rising a little bit. That's good. So this is going to be, I'll be in this one a little bit longer than usual, but it's because there's such a big cushion. And because there's such a big cushion, I can put more and more contracts on the line. So it's fallen. We don't like to see that. Don't like to see that. We're at 379. We got to watch the 350. I may raise it to 360. I'm going to raise it to 360 right now. So if we go below 360, I'm out. But you see the value, even though it dropped a little bit there, held because it's so far away from the strike. So dropping close to 360. Well, we're hanging on by a thread at the moment, but even if we bail, we make a few cents, so we're okay at the moment. I'd love to see it kind of shoot off and go into the 400s again. That'd be great. But yeah, this is I'm very cautious with this one because it's so close to, it's so many contracts because it's such a big spread. And we're out. We made 28 cents. It's like, and you might say, well, that's maybe too cautious. And yeah, maybe, but I'm going to have 30 more opportunities in my 8 hours today. And yeah, if I feel like it goes against me, see, now this is falling pretty fast and I have no stress. I'm not involved with this. And I don't have to be done with this market. If I see it restabilize, of course the price will go way up because we've only got 5 minutes left. But I'm happy to not be involved. If it would have stayed in the 400s, I've been happy to ride that out till the end. But anyway, that gives you an idea about the cautious quality of this strategy and kind of what I'm doing overall. So I hope that helps. come back to the chat and see if anybody has any questions before I go back to chilling and music mode. Okay. First time viewer, welcome. Glad to have you. You can set stop loss in Kalshi app. I know you can do the profits. Yeah, you can't. You cannot set stop loss in Kalshi. You can for perpetuals because that's a necessary element for actual trading. But on predictive markets, they do not have a stop loss. You can set up a take profit, which I just showed in that instance right there. But in order to do a stop loss, you either have to have a bot doing it for you, or you've got, you set it up ahead of time, so all you have to do is press one button to get out, which I just did just there. And like I said, I mean, I can understand people being cautious about not wanting to put 1 cent up, because if the price did fall to 1 cent, that's what you would sell it for. But in this situation, all I'm trying to do is avoid getting blown past. Imagine putting up a 70-cent bid or a 70-cent stop loss, and then the market just went nuts, dropped 100 in 2 seconds, and now you're scrambling to try to put up a different number for your stop loss. Just put it low enough that you'll be able to get out if it goes bad. Yeah, I'll try. Just watch what I'm doing. I already did a full explanation. So I'm going to put M. Silva in charge of helping you out, because I helped M. Silva out and gave him the whole breakdown. If you have questions, I can help in the chat, but M. Silva, anybody else in the room that's kind of knows what's going on. Hey, man, first-time viewer trying to get into the 15-minute BTC market. Do people who just copy your trades? No, because I'm very open about what the strategy is. So I'll do it real quick because we got a couple new people in here. And I don't give picks. Usually I'm not talking. I'm like, the music's playing and I'm trading and typing my answers in the chat. Because I just can't talk for 6 to 8 hours a day. So I come in occasionally to say hello, and if there's ever a question that's like too complicated to type out, I'll come in and talk. But in general, I'm trying not to talk for 6 to 8 hours. So yeah, basically the idea is we're waiting and being very patient to buy positions that are, you can't say they're a lock, but they're high probability, like in the 90 percentile range. Like they're most likely going to win. And all I'm trying to do is get in, grab 10, 15, sometimes just 5 cents per contract of profit, and get out. And I'm also doing a stop loss. You can't do that in Kalshi. You can't set it up automatically ahead of time, but you can prepare to do it. I just did it on this last one. You'll see me do it again. I just did a video that I posted that's like, I think it's called Kalshi Predictive Markets Stop Loss, or Take Profit and Stop Loss. That video shows you how I do the stop loss part. But basically, we're keeping an eye on the chart. We start with the chart. The only thing I care about on the chart is how close is the current price to one of these outer blue bands, the Bollinger Bands. If it's right in the middle, the chart does nothing for me. It doesn't tell me anything. It gives me no clue about what's about to happen. RSI is another one that's about the same thing as Bollinger Bands. This says slight indication of down on the next one, but means almost nothing. So the chart I rarely use, doesn't really help that much for me, what I'm doing. Mostly what I'm doing is waiting until 8 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go, before I even start considering doing anything. And at that point, I may make a cautious bid. But as soon as I'm like convinced, I'm trying to get in, set up, take profit, and if I need to, take a small stop loss that's based on the white box price. So anyway, I've explained it twice, so my brain is getting tired of explaining. So yeah, how about we do this? If you have specific questions, go ahead and ask them, because that'll drive some engagement for me, which I appreciate folks being here and hanging out and asking questions. I just did the whole explanation, so doing it all again is kind of daunting. That's why my next video is going to be that, just explaining it all. So when somebody comes in, I can say, go watch this video. It'll be everything I would tell you in this moment. So that's the next video I want to work on. Probably going to do that in the next day or two. But yeah, basically, all this is time decay and distance away from the target. You know, we want time as our ally, so we don't want to get involved in the beginning. For my strategy, I want to be involved as late as possible, because I want time on my side. I also want to have enough room away from the strike based on how fast the market is moving up and down, that I have enough time to, I have minimal time to close that thing. And I do have enough space that if it does start moving against me, I can get out and not take the risk of crossing the line into, a big loss. I'm trying to minimize losses. I'm trying to maximize wins. But because my wins are so small, 5, 10, 15 cents, I have to keep my losses small as well. They can go up to like 20% or a little bit more because I win so often, but I don't want to be taking 100% wins or 100% losses. That would make my strategy very difficult to maintain. So I'm in with like usually less than 7 minutes to go. I'm probably buying at somewhere between 80 cents and 94, 95, 96. I'm buying somewhere in there. I'm setting a take profit at 99.9 or 99 or whatever I feel like is just I want to get out of that market based on the risk. And then once I have that take profit on the board, go see my video about how to do a stop loss, take profit and stop loss. That'll help you. But if you sit here for a while and watch me do this, you'll see me change the 99.9 to 1 cent and just wait. I'll pick a number over here on the white number on the top of the middle of the board. That's the number Kalshi uses. So I'll be, like, for example, if I got in right now on down and I got in at 73 cents, the number to beat is 323. So it's at 303 right now. That's way too close for me to be involved. But as an example, I would say, okay, it's at 303. We got $20. If it gets to 310, 313, I'm out. All right, so I'm managing that position. I'm looking for the number to not go above 313. If it does, I got to get out. So, and then as the market progresses, I will, increase that amount. It's like moving your stop loss up higher and higher as you go to protect your profit. You've already earned profit. You don't need to give it back. So moving the stop loss up as you go. So for example, it's been hanging out here in the 280s for a while. So I might move my number up to 300. All right. So now we're at 300. If it crosses 300, we got to get out. Right. But anyway, you do this based on how much time is left, how comfortable you are with the position, et cetera, et cetera. If you set it too tight, you're losing all the time because little ups and downs will take you out. So anyway, you gotta work and practice at that, but you do it long enough, you get a pretty good sense of how that works. So, all right, let me come back and see if we've got any. All right. I got you. I myself tried other strategies on this in the past and even got into tennis betting for the small wins, like 20 to 50 cents. Is there a certain entry cost you look for, and do you check for overall trend? Yeah, I mean, I don't even worry about trend that much. There's only one situation where the chart gives me a general kind of somewhat 1% effective idea of what's going on. But if I see a long trend of like the same result over 6 in a row, it's very rare it's very rare for it to go above 9, 10. Like that's once every 2 months it'll happen, like on average. So it's very rare. So if I see 6 in a row and the price is outside of the Bollinger Band, I start a different strategy, and that's very aggressive. And I use martingale strategy, and I'm like doubling down. Like I'm basically like, I know I have an advantage. I know that the numbers say that there's a really high probability that I'm going to win. So I will get in and be aggressive in those moments, but like besides that, the chart, I mean, it doesn't help. Trends and the chart and all that. I will say the Bollinger Bands are pretty good predictor of where resistance is, and so I do very often see it bounce off of a bottom Bollinger Band. But that being said, I've also seen it where it slides down the side of it and goes for like 2 hours down the side, staying outside of the Bollinger Band. So charts, I think they can be slightly helpful, but not really. All I'm trying to do is time decay and size my position based on the risk, do a take profit and stop loss, try to skim off some money. That's it. Or just short frequency trends. Yeah, I mean, I don't really. Strike line. Strike line is the same thing as target or the number to beat. So the strike line. He tries to get position away from the strike to create a cushion in case of spikes drop. Time to get out with profit. Even if it sense profit is profit. Maria nailed it. Maria on the ball. That's what I'm talking about. All right, Maria, you got to stick around so you can explain it to everybody, so I don't have to do it all the time. But I appreciate that. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple strategy. Let me see if I can come on here and make some money. Let's see. Well, we are 275, 50 away. I like this. I like this a lot. Let's see if I can get it before it goes crazy with price. I'm not going to be too insane with my bid, but let's see if we can get, 93 would be fine. So we got 93. So immediately I said take profit. And for me, that's, in this situation, I'm just going to do 99.9. That's $1.38 in profit. And these numbers go up as my bankroll increases, but I size everything based on my current bankroll. So this is a big one for me because it's 10%, basically 10% of my bankroll. All right, so now I'm setting the stop loss at 1 cent. So our take profit is on the board. If we hit that, we're great. Let me come back. My number right now is if it goes above 290, I'm out. 290. 5 minutes to go. Set the stop loss at 1 cent. That does not mean I'm going to sell for 1 cent. That means I'm going to sell at the best price possible at the moment. Higher than 1 cent. So my way of making sure I get out if it go, especially when it's tight down to the end. So we had a nice movement away. That's good. We like that. So I'm going to move up the stop loss to 280 now. Protect the profits. Stop loss 280. It could definitely hit there on this next little bounce. So we'll see. But feeling good. Time's ticking away. And I'm still staying about the same distance away from the strike. So we're playing a game of chicken now. Just like, how long can you hold on before... And there we go. That's what we like to see. All right, so I'm lowering my stop loss now to 260. If it hits 260, I'm out. Like, see, now I'm protecting my profit. Like, and 260. I'm pretty close to my take profit anyway. It's 99.6. So feeling pretty good, but still 260 and I'm out. But I think more than likely this is probably there it was. So anyway, it didn't really mean I just want to make sure I follow my procedure, right? So even though that was like almost a sure thing, I still get almost all my profit, $1.23, and I'm out. There it is. There's the process. Yeah, I mean, it's nice when it works like that, and it's pretty stress-free. All right, let's see here. Kalshi has a little delay, so the number on the right in the white box is the real-time price. That's correct. White box is the CF benchmarks price in real time. The graph that's kind of moving all over the place with numbers up and down, that's the Coinbase order book on TapeSurf. I probably should just go directly to the source on that, but anyway, I have a Coinbase account, but I don't know. And the chart is from it's TradingView, but I go through CoinMarketCap so I don't get ads all the time, because TradingView just loves to throw ads at me like every 1 second. So yeah, mainly what I'm looking at is the white box with the current CF benchmarks price, how much time is left, and how far away we are from the strike. That's it. That's what I'm doing. And I'm trying to wait as long as possible. And I size the contracts based on, here's what I'm doing right now. If I'm not sure, if I have doubts, I sit out. I don't even get involved. If I'm slightly confident, I think it's going to work, I'll do like 5 contracts, which for me would be 2.5% of my bankroll. If I'm pretty confident, I think this is going to work, I'll do 10 contracts, and that is, 5% of my bankroll. And then if I'm super confident, I'm getting in at 20, and that's 10% of my bankroll. And if it's late and the number's way high in the 90s, 95, 96, I may go, 50 or 100 and just manage it tightly to try and, take advantage of that, almost sure thing. Yeah. That's kind of my bankroll management for having a bankroll at 200. I started with 100 I reset my account to 100. I think it was 10 days ago. So we're almost double in 10 days. I'd love to keep that going. Just keep doubling every 10 days. But yeah, we're off to a good start. This does require patience and not getting involved when the situation is too dicey. It can be real tempting to want to make, emotional calls, but my system, it's based on all the teachings of all the really good teachers on YouTube, like Ross Cameron at Warrior Trading and stuff like that. It's just trading. It's just trading smartly. We're not here to gamble. We're here to trade. At least that's how I do it. And yeah, it works. I mean, I've been profitable 7 days in a row. Yesterday was the first time that it wasn't to my goal of 10%, but I just found yesterday to be very difficult for trading my strategy. So anyway, let's see what else. Okay, 16 people, 17 people. It's lovely to have you in the room. I'll do my best to trade and talk at the same time. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. Let's talk about strategy. Let's talk about things you've learned or, questions you have. And if you wouldn't mind, give the stream a like, hit some emojis, and yeah, support the work that I'm doing, going live 6 to 8 hours a day, and not holding back at all about like what works for me. I'm not trying to hide any wisdom from anybody. I'm trying to create community, trying to create space for people to come together and have something real in this world. Taking that previous sheet with you actually helped my mental and understanding risk control. You're hella good, man. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Not trying to gatekeep. That's right. That's right. Maria gets it. Dang, Maria. You the best. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not trying to gatekeep. These are things that are pretty, if you just did this like I did for the last year, you'd eventually resolve on something like this because it just makes sense. There are other strategies that can work. I'm not going to say that mine's the only one that works. I am well aware that if you have a good sense of when a price is undervalued, like I think there's something to be said for buying early in these markets when they're chaotic and up and down 100, to buy 13 cents on up like early, and just that could be a strategy if you did it consistently, but you can't just like pick and choose on that. You got to keep doing it over and over again. And for me, the one that works to do over and over again is the high probability play and managing that position well, And I think the stop loss is the biggest key. And managing, raising the stop loss as you get farther away from the strike. So you're protecting your profits and you avoid the big swing that knocks everybody out, that goes, takes everybody to zero. So anyway, if you have any questions, please shoot them at me while I'm talking. Maria, I appreciate you. I got a few people in here that really support me, and man, that feels so good, and I appreciate that. I'll be quite honest with everybody. I'm a super straight, honest, like I'm the antithesis of what's happening in the world right now, where people lie and cheat and manipulate to try to get their way. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in just being exactly honest. I sleep really well at night because I'm 100% honest. I don't have to keep track of what I said day to day because it's just what's real for me. So anyway, I just think there's no other way to live. I live a simple life. I make music. If you like kind of folky, old guy music, I make that. 7 Streams is my name on all platforms. But I keep my life very simple. I live off-grid, solar panels in the redwood forest right by the Pacific Ocean. My life is very simple and peaceful and quiet. My cats are sleeping on the bed over there. Life is good, man. And so life is good. Let's try to help each other. in what I think is like a great opportunity. I think predictive markets are a really good opportunity if you don't treat them like gambling. If you treat them like gambling, you're going to get burned like every gambler always does. So, thank you, Carlos. I'm going to do a video of this updated strategy. I have a strategy video that's up that I did a while back, but I think I can update it with a little better information. Basically all the things I'm telling you right now. So if you see a video from me in the near future, it's very likely going to be all the things you just heard me say. But it'll help me on my lives, because so many people come in and say, help me. And I just want to be able to say, go watch that video. I can repeat it occasionally, but like it gets exhausting if I have to repeat it. I do 6 to 8 hours a day of streaming, so I can't repeat it all the time. I scalped 36 cents scalping while the downtrend had a little cushion. That's right. That's how you do it. Go Maria. Where's everybody from? Don't give me your, exact coordinates, but like, what part of the world is everybody coming from? I'm on the West Coast. I'm Northern California, where the Redwood Forest is. I'm in Redwood National and State Park, and I live here. And yeah, off grid, chilling by the ocean. It's always 70 degrees here. Where's everybody else at? And feel free while I'm on the microphone, because I'll bring this to a close pretty soon. So before I go back to just music mode and trading, get your questions in or anything you want to talk about. Oceanside, yeah. Cali Bay Area. Puerto Rico. Lived in a van. Oh, nice. I lived in my RV traveling the western part of the United States for 12 years. And actually all I did was buy some land in the Pacific Northwest and park my RV on it, and now I'm building stuff on my property. Building a shelter around my RV, because I'm perfectly fine in my RV. Like it's been my home for like 12 years, super comfortable. I redid the whole thing, so like, Oh, we got a lot of Californians in the room. How do you like Puerto Rico, Maria? Bay Area, we got Wasn't Oceanside, California 2, Sacramento, Santa Cruz. Yeah. I will be trading. I'm kind of focused a little bit on talking right now, but yeah, I will be trading. Wish I could have done that. I just got a year subscription to Disney and went there monthly. Bay Area, we got California heavy in the house today. That's great. My eventual plan is to create kind of a off-grid retreat. Kind of people come and just chill and hang out, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm an old guy, and I got tired. I loved living in my RV, traveling around, using solar power, working remotely, like all that. But now that I consider myself retired, like, I'm just chilling, man, and life is good. Like I said, got the cats on the couch, and that'd be great. Well, Maria, you definitely get what I'm doing. Born and raised in Puerto Rico, so I'm back home. Too hot, but the beaches are warm and not that cold water. Oh, yeah. It is cold water. I mean, I think of the cold water out here as my air conditioner, because it literally almost impossible for it to get above 80 degrees here. Like, it just cannot do it. Like, so I'm in a hoodie probably 10 months out of the year, and it's super cozy and comfortable. It never gets cold. Like, it's always, even in the dead of winter, it might go below freezing like for a few hours. Like, it just doesn't, the ocean is so cool that it like keeps it cold in the summer and keeps it from being too cold in the winter. So I don't know. For me, it's perfect. I'm old. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to. I don't like to be cold either. Like so, this is perfect for me. I had two 400-watt solar panels. Oh, nice. 200 amp hour battery. Nice. Was that lithium ion? Did you have Life? What was it? Life Po? I have two 100 amp hour lithium ion batteries, so I have the same thing. I don't have as much solar panels, so I probably need more. Dog was with me 24/7. Yeah, I always thought I was a dog person, and then I rescued a cat, and now I've become a cat dad. And now I've got another cat that I rescued from the neighborhood, and now other cats are showing. It's becoming like a cat sanctuary over here. What do you use? TradingView, Bookmap to monitor and make your decisions. I have TradingView on the screen through CoinMarketCap. The reason I don't have it, I had it on TradingView for a long time, but they kept throwing ads at me, and I don't want to pay to be on TradingView. So I just used CoinMarketCap uses the TradingView charts. So it's basically TradingView in another on another site, and I don't get the ads. So I use TradingView, but like I said earlier, I don't really use charts that much. Mine is based on time. My strategy is based on time decay, current price, and distance away from the strike. That's all I really need to know, basically. Let's see. I missed that weather. Yeah, it's nice. Okay. What good gang here? From Kelly, let's run it up. Yeah. Oh, on the big screen. How does it look on the big screen? Because I got everything, I think, in pretty good quality. I got my Starlink out. This live has improved tremendously over the last week. Like I've done a lot of changes to make it better. So I'm glad it can be on the big screen and not look terrible. So, and making my predicts on my phone. Let's do it. All right, let's do it. Yep. Moldovan. TradingView to see where the trend. Oh, she's helping me out. Maria, you're the best. LifePo batteries, yeah. DC charger, yep. I have that too. How can I charge? I can charge from I have a generator because it gets cloudy here in the winter, so you got to have a generator. But I have a nice quiet generator that charges my batteries. I basically run off my batteries, and I have 3 ways to charge the battery. Solar power when it's sunny. I can run the engine on my RV, and that charges the batteries. Or I can run the generator, and that charges my batteries. So I'll find a way to charge those batteries. Yep. It looks amazing. I can see everything. It's only like 2 seconds. That's so good, man. I've got it on. I'm using OBS for my streaming software, and I've got it on ultra low latency through Starlink. And Starlink is, I'm in the middle of the woods, so I have to like go to my neighbor's house and like put my dish in his yard, but it's much better than it has been. AC to DC converter, yep. I've got a converter as well. Until last week, I've done pretty well, but something is just not working for me. And the last week, yeah, it's been tough. If it gives you some idea, during that same time, I've been profitable every day, 10% at a time. My goal is always to make 10% a day. So yesterday was the first day in a week that I didn't get there. And it was, for me, it was rough yesterday. I had to do stop loss way more than usual. And the weekend was just challenging in general. It was, the last 3 days have been hard. But I've been grinding out profits, 10%, 13%, and then like 4% yesterday. So I reset this bankroll to 100 about 10 days ago. So Okay, we're going to get this updated. New market. Of course, Kalshi won't give you it's so laggy for the strike price on the computer for Kalshi. But anyway, we work with it. All right, I'm going to answer a few more questions, and then I'm going to switch over to more of a trading mode. But I really appreciate all this conversation. We were up to 17 people in the room. If you haven't subscribed yet, that would mean a lot to me. I think we're gonna probably reach our goal during this live of 250, but the long-term goal is to get up to 1,000 and really start making some money and start giving back to you guys who support. So the thing I was thinking about yesterday is I want to do 1,000 subscriber kind of celebration where maybe for an hour, 8 times in the day, on that day that it reaches 1,000, I pick 8 people that have been super supportive of me, and I trade for them for an hour, and then send them PayPal or Venmo of like what my profits were. So that's like the next thing I'm planning on doing as far as like celebrating kind of pretty amazing growth. I've only been doing this for a little over a week. And, okay, let me get caught up on the stuff. I discovered this yesterday. I made $30 guessing, so I want to learn it. Yeah. Nice. I like what Polymarket has, which sucks we can't use it. I do have Polymarket, the U.S. version. There's no longer a wait list, I believe. At least I'm not on the wait list anymore. I was let in. But they don't do crypto on the U.S. version. So they are not licensed for that yet. So the international version of Polymarket has 5-minute crypto markets. And if I could get in on 5-minute crypto markets, I'd probably be in those for sure. Can someone help me recover? I'm down a chunk. Building community. Absolutely. That's what we're doing for sure. Yeah, I felt like, I'd watch the comments on Kalshi at the bottom of the BTC 15, and I'd be like, this is kind of fun, but like not really a community. You can't really connect through the comment section. You kind of have to have a place dedicated to that. So that's kind of the idea. Eventually we may do a Discord or whatever, something, but I'm not in a hurry to do that. I'm spending 6 to 8 hours a day making videos and trading and doing lives and stuff. I've lost $60 so far with your strategy. Oh, so far, period. With your strategy, turning it around. Thank you. Punctuation matters, people. Because I could read that as, I've lost $60 so far with your strategy. Maybe that is what you're saying. If it is, I'm sorry. That's brutal, but I don't think so. I'm guessing you lost $60 so far, but with my strategy, you're turning it around. I'm an English major. I went to school for 4 years to have an English degree, so excuse me. I apologize. I know we don't use punctuation and stuff anymore, but it matters. All right. When I first started, I started with 500, made it to 5,000. Nice. Made about a lot more than that and started losing every day last week. Yeah, I mean, I can only reiterate that, like, especially the last 3 days have been rough. Very close to the strike point. A lot of reversals. Things seem to be going in one direction and then they go in the other, and so it's been tough. And I've tried a lot of strategies on here. I even programmed 2 different bots to trade strategies 24 hours a day. And after all that work and months of trying things, and this is like my full-time hobby, and I was like, came back to where I started and was like, my initial instinct was to find high probability and scalp off high probability. And let's return to that. And I think the big difference is let's learn how to do a stop loss. because it was so frustrating for me that Kalshi did not have a stop loss. I was like, oh man, it would be so much better if I could just say I'm out when it hits this price. So learning how to do a stop loss, given how Kalshi operates, has been a super game changer for me, and has helped. Like my stress level is like way lower because I get in, I have a number that I'm going to get out at, and I just press the button if it hits that number. That's it. I may lose a little bit, I may win a little bit, based on the odds of where we're at. More than often, I make a little bit, but it takes time, and there's no glorious victories for me. You know, I'm never like all in. Let's see if we can double our thing on a guess. You know, that's not how I'm operating. I'm operating as an investor that's trading the trends. And Maria pointed out earlier that you don't necessarily have to wait to the end. If you see a trend developing and it's moving in that direction, you can just get in, like let's say right now, we think it's going to go up for a while. Get in at 66 cents for yes, for up, and sell at, 75 or 80 or 85, whatever you think it's going to be. But I would definitely encourage in these markets to take smaller profits because it's been so chaotic and up and down. But see, if we got in at 66 and took 5 cents, we'd have our profit and be out. And we could do it again if we thought that was the case. Going to keep happening. But anyway, I'm going to get back to trading. Let's see if we got anything else before we go. I'm glad to hear it. I'll chill, dude. I will. This guy's like, when do you bet, motherfucker? Like, come on. I've been watching, waiting. I will as soon as I stop talking, and that's going to happen right now. I bet. Well, anyway, you'll see. It's too close. It's too close to the strike point. But as soon as I'm like 99% confident, I bet it's more than likely going to drop. Here, we got a predictor in the room. All right, I'm happy if somebody knows how to predict the market. Be a great addition to the community. But I don't. I gave up on that. I studied so much the charts and everything. It's hard to predict this market. The only thing that helps me is Bollinger Bands. Have you tried using Bookmap at all? I have not. If you'd like to explain what Bookmap is, that'd be wonderful. Is that? I'm going to guess. I'm going to use context clues and say Bookmap combines the exchanges to give you a comprehensive map of all the exchange order books in real time. Did I get it? Do I win anything? I'll check it out. What's the website? Because that would probably be better than Tape Surf. I appreciate it. You see the huge orders. Oh yeah, that's super important, and I see that on Coinbase. I also see how those orders can blockade the price, and you can't. There's no amount of buying that can make that wall go away. I mean, it would take somebody to throw millions of dollars to get it to move. So yeah, well, I appreciate you all. This was great. Great time to come in. I can't chat all day because I wear myself out, but I will come back if you guys have any questions. I'm going to put Maria in charge of answering questions in the chat while I'm trading. But let's get back to trading because I know I got a couple people that are like, hey, do you ever trade? It's like, yeah, I do. All right, so back to the music. By the way, I have found only 18 songs on the YouTube audio library that I like, or I think I can listen to this for a while. And I'm trying to stick to the YouTube audio library so I don't get any copyright stuff. I'm a recording artist, so I'm like really sensitive to that. So anyway, if you happen to like be in the mood to want to go through the YouTube audio library, the songs are getting better. In the last like year, there's been a lot more good songs, and I think the 18 I've got are pretty decent. But if you get tired of any of them, just let me know. But that's what I got right now. 18 songs on a loop. Let's call this the top 18 YouTube audio library from a recording artist. All right, back to trading.
But you think you're doing it wrong. High pressure underground. Your body's on time, body's on time, made it. Body's on time, body's on time, made it. Pretty pictures from the upward bound. When the thunder hits, it doesn't make a sound. World's in a hurry just to be let down. Wearing no worry like a wedding gown. Your body's on time, body's on time, made it, made it. Your body's on time, body's on time, made it, made it. Take a minute, catch your breath. Take a minute, pass your test. Take it easy, take a step. Take a seat and be my guest.
I just want to come on here and say thank you to you guys so much. We just hit 256 subscribers thanks to this live and all of you being here. I greatly appreciate it. Means a lot to me. So I'll have to create a new goal. I guess we're trying to get to 300 now. But I want to come in and celebrate this with you guys. And thank you so much for all the support, all the likes and comments and emojis and all that good stuff. I appreciate it. I'm going to get back to focusing on trading. But if you have any questions that come up, Maria might answer. She's pretty sharp and she's on the ball. So, but if not, I'll come in and answer if need be. But yeah, help me keep the chat going, interact with each other, and help me so I can just focus a little bit on trading for a while to keep the energy going, because this is pretty great. I know I keep having people say to me, "Hey, you got to talk more." Oh, you're going to be big and rich. Yeah, well, I don't know about all that, but I'm going to be. No, I don't do social media. I'm the anti-viral guy, dude. No thanks. I'm building real community with real people one at a time. Like, I don't want to go viral. This is viral for me. Having 14 people gathered together, you got to concentrate. Yesterday, wife kept talking to me and I couldn't concentrate. Yeah. That's why sometimes after the live is over, I'll trade for another hour because I'm not focused on my message I'm delivering. I'm not focused on answering questions or anything like that. Consider me a day one man. Yeah, bro, you're in on the ground floor of this. So you'll see a few of the I'm Gen X, so I don't know these phrases, but the stands, I believe you'd call them. We've got Isaac, who is kind of from the very beginning. So we got some people that are here from the first moment. But yeah, if you're in right now, seeing me, you're in at the beginning. I think we'll get to 1,000 pretty quickly because everybody wants to make money, and I don't know what the stat is, but most people lose money on predictive markets. So if we can find a strategy that works and make some money from the bots that are from the rich people bots that are, raking in hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, yeah, why not? Let's do it. I think it's time for nice people, kind people, intelligent people to have some money and be able to do some cool things in the world and make it a better place. So, I don't know. Stan from Eminem song. Yeah. I see. I'm from Detroit. I grew up about 10 miles away from 8 Mile. So Eminem is it's a really politically incorrect word, but I was a white kid that definitely acted like I wasn't a white kid. Like I acted like I watched BET and listened to rap. I was wearing red shoes and rolling up my pants and, anyway, I was doing all those things. But yeah, so me and Eminem are pretty close energetically. And he's the same kind of dude. He's just talking truth. He's telling the truth, I'm a little bit more I'm a little bit more easy around the edges, I'm not as sharp and cutting as he is, but we both speak the truth. So anyway, back to trading. To all my stands, I appreciate you. Auburn Hills, Michigan. What? I used to live in Auburn Hills, Michigan. I grew up in Michigan in Waterford. Commerce Township was where I grew up, and then moved to Waterford, which is right next to Pontiac. And I lived in Auburn Hills for a while as well. Sweet. It's a small world. Auburn Hills, the former home of the Palace of Auburn Hills, where the Detroit Pistons played basketball. All right, back to trading. But thank you so much, all of you. I love you. Have a great day. I'll be back if you have any questions. Cheers. Back to trading. But thank you so much, all of you. I'll be back if you have any questions.
From the crest of the wave that we broke upon and pulled you back into the sea, all the way down. Why'd it take all our life to explain that it's more beautiful when you're here? I remember the light when it turned around and revealed all the truth, no escape. Point blank. Say it like it is this time for me to hear. Suddenly, you felt all alone again. Even in crowded rooms with all your friends. Where goes the tide? All in front of you. Where goes the tide? Still in front of you. Say it like it is this time for me to hear. Suddenly, you felt all alone again. Even in crowded rooms, all around friends. Say it, it's unbreakable. Through it all and more. Don't fret now, I'm not leaving you alone. Won't leave you now or through later days.
Well, I chipped my tooth on a tangerine, and the J-Bag singing something about the way things used to be. Now I'm dancing on a wire like a cheap paper tiger, strumming on a heartstring stereo to a song that no one knows, and it goes like this. Hey, hey, yeah, said it goes like this. Say la vie, oh, don't ask me, 'cause it goes like this. Yeah.
Well, with this many people in the room, I probably need to stay on the chat and keep talking because I know this live does way better with me talking than just the music playing. So on that one, I just got in pretty aggressively, and because I got in aggressively, I was pretty cautious about getting out. The number I had in mind was 120, and it crossed that line, and so I was out. But still $1 in profit. It's not terrible, but could have been better. But what I'm mostly focused on right now is executing my strategy. And if the strategy is to stop loss at a certain number, and I do that, that's success. I'm proud of myself. I'm happy with it. Whether I made 10 cents or 100 cents, like $7 or lost $7, whatever it was, as long as I'm sticking to the strategy. Because I guarantee as soon as I move away from the strategy, that's when I start losing. So I just learned to the strategy is there for a reason. It works. It can be tempting to want to hold on to a position and maybe it'll turn around, maybe it'll work out. But as soon as you have profit, you got to raise the stop loss underneath that, and so if it turns back, then you're out. To a certain point, I got out when it was still 5 minutes to go, so there's plenty of time for it to reverse. All right. I've been making money since I've been on the live. Cool. Anybody else? I love to hear what people's profit and loss are. You don't have to share the dollar amount, but what percentage are you up since you started this live or today? I'd love to know how it's working for people. Because, it works for me. I mean, there are times, I'd say that these conditions are pretty good for this strategy. There are times where it's not so good, where it's up and down, and you don't know what's going to happen. It's too close to the strike. These conditions right this moment are pretty great. And if you look at the chart, we're going to keep an eye on if this down streak crosses that Bollinger Band. That'll be something to keep an eye on here. But so a little bit of a win on that one. $1. At my bankroll with a goal of making 10% a day, $1 win is good. Real solid. Do that. I think I have to do that 19 times a day to get my 10%. But it works. I'm going to have bigger wins than that. I'm going to have smaller wins than that. But, $1 at my bankroll of, 190 is fine for kind of a sure thing that was very low stress. And I could have even hung in there longer, but that's not my strategy. So, you got to stick to the strategy. What I may have to start doing as we get bigger as a community is I might have to just go with talking and just do 3 to 4 hours a day. Because if I try to talk 6 to 8 hours a day, I will be toast. But I'm not young like some of you folks out there. I'm an old dude, so I gotta protect my energy. But it's a lot more fun having people chat and connect with people, and so I'm really enjoying this live quite a bit. There's people from all over connecting. They're also where nothing you can do to stop it once it starts sky. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think the longer you do it and the more experience you have with those epic falls out of nowhere, you realize that the stop loss is key, and you got to stick to it. And if you have a rising stop loss as you get more comfortable away, you kind of locking in the profits, and you're going to avoid those crazy reversals that do happen. I've seen one 15-minute window where it went down 500 and finished up 600. So like the amount of change in that one market was jaw-dropping. And it can happen on here. All it takes is one person, one billionaire coming in and saying, I'm going to buy 1,000 Bitcoin right now. I'm just going to do it. That would just like completely move the needle up hundreds of points, maybe even 1,000 points, just that move. So you got to be aware that these things we're at the whim of rich people playing games with their money. So I put 10 in, lost 8, back up $2. Okay, good. That was Saturday morning or Friday when I lost 10K. Oh no, dude. Sonia says up. Probably. All signs would point to an up thing at this moment, but it's too early for me. I don't get involved until usually 7 minutes, 6-7 minutes. Depends on the market and how far away from the strike it is. I am noticing we're getting a kind of a common trend of $100 away from the strike is happening quite a bit. Those are great for me because I feel like I can get in, I can be aggressive with the amount of contracts I get in with, and I've got plenty of room to get out if I need to. So I do tend to like, under these specific conditions that we're seeing right now, the kind of the energy that's happening, if it gets, $100 away from the strike, I'm like, okay. No matter what the time left is, I'm feeling pretty interested in being involved in this market. So haven't swept liquidity. Haven't swept liquidity. Has to be down. So the other prompts on the screen, how do you read them? All right, we'll do this again. Sure. Liquidity sweeps. Let's talk about that. I know a little bit about liquidity sweeps, but Fernander, if you want to be someone who really helps improve the wisdom of our community, we'd love for you to explain what liquidity sweeps are. I know it basically has to do with the market dipping down for people cashing in their profits that they've got in the current market, and that usually drives the price down. And, that's basically where I'm looking at the bottom of the Bollinger Band as being like liquidity sweep is probably nearing an end and it's going to reverse. But if you have more information on that and you want to share your thoughts, liquidity sweeps are an important thing to understand for sure. Okay, let me explain what's on the screen. Well, we got Kalshi, obviously, on the left side of the screen. And I'm in, probably the biggest thing to point out is that I'm doing limit orders. And so I highly recommend, if you're not using limit orders, to make that change. And review, I've got a couple videos that talk about limit orders on my channel, but the most recent one will probably be the better one, I believe. I'm working on my production value for my videos as well to have them as good as my live, so I think they're getting there. All right, so we got Kalshi on the screen. Use limit orders. Da 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 da. The white box is CF Benchmarks real-time index, which is what Kalshi is using to determine the price. So the chart, the graph that we're looking at on Kalshi is going to lag behind, and the current price on Kalshi is going to lag behind the reality of that benchmark. because they do an average and it takes longer to react to the real-time price. So that's really important. If you notice the line going up but all of a sudden the price changes dramatically and nothing has happened on the chart, it's because that white box, the number in that white box has changed dramatically. You can also see that this is the tape surf, the one that's moving a lot, that has bar graphs that are going sideways, and green bars on the bottom, red on the top, with a price that's constantly changing. That is the website TapeSurf, showing the Coinbase order book in real time. So that's Coinbase order book and what's happening there. You'll see that the Coinbase order book and the CF benchmarks are connected because Coinbase is one of the major exchanges. So one of the people in the chat today suggested using Bookmap, I believe is what it's called, to bring all of the exchanges into one kind of visualization of like where the orders are at. But for simplicity of presentation on my live at this moment, I'm just using the Coinbase order book, and I'm watching what's happening on that order book to get a sense of kind of where the market is moving in real time. And I think it's really important to understand, I just kind of learned this in the last month. I used to think like if there was a bunch of orders, a bunch of bids, a bunch of green bars underneath the price, that meant, oh, the price was going to want to go that way because there's more down there to move toward. It's actually kind of the opposite of that, because what's on the board is people saying, hey, I'll buy at this, hey, I'll sell at this, right? And it's on either side of a number. And so that doesn't mean that it's going to get picked up. What is required is like somebody coming in and saying, okay, I'm going to sell at your price. I'm going to buy at your price, you know? So if somebody were to come in right now and either sell or buy one Bitcoin, it would move the price pretty dramatically because, at least on Coinbase, because there's very little on either side right now. You got 0.02, 0.01, 0.2, nothing, right? There's very little, it's very thin on both sides. So if somebody comes in and decides to make a move right now, they're going to have a possibility, if they have enough shares involved, to move the price pretty dramatically. So if you see a big blockade, like, you know, you see like this says 4 Bitcoin right here, you know, and you'll see on this chart, it'll give you a yellow box. Let's see if we can scroll up a little bit and find a yellow box. It's all pretty thin right now on both sides. Yeah, it's thin. It's pretty thin. So a price right now would move it in either direction significantly. Has the potential to. So that's something I'm aware of and I'm keeping an eye on, right? So that the current $5 away from the strike is nothing, because somebody can come in and change that just like right there. One move just moved the price dramatically because it's so thin on both sides. Now, oh, you saw that see how they're getting bigger? They're pushing the price up with their bids. So if somebody were to put a ton right here, it's going to push up. All that being said, it's helpful to a certain degree, but you always have to know that bots are trading this in milliseconds and making decisions faster than human speed. So it can change in a heartbeat. Finally, we've got the chart. I got Bollinger Bands. That's basically what I use. RSI is about the same thing. I'm using the TradingView chart, but it's through CoinMarketCap because it doesn't give me a bunch of ads when I go through CoinMarketCap. So anyway, I just got the BTC with two indicators on, RSI and Bollinger Bands. They're about the same thing. They basically tell you when the market has most likely reached a point of resistance where it's going to want to move back in the other direction. If it gets to the edge or outside of the edge of one of these lines, the blue lines. My strategy is not dependent on reading charts that much. I'm looking for far enough spread away from the strike. Let's see if we should trade here. 118.90. Order book very thin. Price can move quite a bit. We're only 10 away. I'm going to say hard pass here. If I were to get in, it would be an up, obviously, at 83, and I'd have to manage it really tightly because this could change. You see the order book on Coinbase is super thin on both sides, so it can go in either direction. Anybody buys or sells right now, it moves it quite a bit. You see this 3.4 at 65.83. At this moment, it's going to be hard for the price to go below that because there's a big order there. All right, let me catch up on chat here. Okay. I love having this much chat. We went all day yesterday and there was nobody chatting, so this is great. Okay, he's going to explain liquidity sweep. I'm going to get caught up on that. Basically, price beating significant highs and lows. Yep. If you look at the full chart, we are on a big downtrend, and if you look at the previous significant loss, we still haven't reached them. Yeah, so might be best for folks to, if you're interested in liquidity sweeps, there's plenty of videos out there to explain it on YouTube. The basic idea is people are cashing in their profits, sweeping liquidity, and once that has happened, once people have gotten their profits and gotten out, the price will tend to rise as people start to get back in because the price is now, it's now reasonable relative to the rest. The relative strength index that I'm using basically indicates that. When you get down to 30 on the RSI, that's where kind of it's going to tend to be, not always, but going to tend to be the bottom of the liquidity sweep. So I'm watching for the bottom Bollinger Band and 30 on RSI, and it's basically the same thing. It's the bottom band on RSI. That when it gets to there, likely the liquidity sweep has kind of completed its process, and now the price will tend to bounce back. These are all tendencies. They're not like for sure things. So Fernander says, I don't think the market has a reason to flip yet. Okay. So anyway, I decided to stay out of that one. It did stay up, but I'm okay with that because it's part of my strategy. If I'm in doubt at all, there's no point. I don't need to do that. That's why a lot of people will be like super like no thank you to this strategy because they need stimulation in their life, to stay engaged with it. I don't need that. I'm like super zen, chill dude. So like I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting for the right time. I'm not in a hurry to lose money. I'm like I'm checking the chart, sure. But mostly I'm checking the CF benchmark's price, how much time is left, and how far away from the strike we are. And if I'm comfortable with that and I don't see any crazy stuff going on the order book that like makes me kind of cringe and be nervous, then I'll be in. But until then, I'm not. So, all right, let's see. I have $100. I need to increase it to 1,000. Well, don't we all? with what I'm doing here, if you did it, I think you could get there, but it would take it would take some time. I think my goal is to get to 1,000 in 2 months. I figure I can get there with this strategy and being very cautious and not taking unnecessary risks. But I think it's very not only possible but probable that I will get there if I stick to the strategy. That's what Bookmap does. It tells you exactly what was sold and what was bought. Oh, it tells you. Oh, I see. So it doesn't show you the order book. It shows you what was purchased in real time. Anyway, I got to check that out. I turned $40 to like 75. I just look for the 10 to 20% move on my money. I like live your videos. Thank you so much, Jerseys. How many minutes or seconds is your charts at? My chart, on which one? On TradingView, it's a 15-minute chart. But like I said, I don't really rely on charts. I'll be right back. Got to rescue the in-law from a flat tire. So not only, I'm guessing Maria is, I don't know. I think it's a male. Maria might be the wife of this crew. I don't know. Or maybe I'm talking to Maria and anyway, I'm going to have to get some clarification on that because Maria has mentioned wife, but maybe, anyway, I'm confused. Got to rescue the in-law from a flat tire. But anyway, not only is Maria helping out in the chat and super sharp, but like just a good person going out, making a positive difference in the world. Well, let's see where we're at. We're kind of falling into kind of stagnation mode on the chart. We had some big moves a little while ago. It has kind of quieted down a little bit. We're sticking closer to the strike. So, yeah, it's, I guess, a good time to keep chatting. I'll keep an eye on things. I usually wait until 7 minutes to get involved, unless it's like right now, unless it was 100 away or like 80 to 100 away, I would maybe get in early. But besides that, I'm not looking to get in super early. But yeah, if you have any questions, I appreciate let's see if we got how many likes we got on this video. We got 18 people in the room, so if you're getting some benefit out of this, only 7 likes on the video. So I'd appreciate it if you could just go over and press that button. That would be helpful. And we were at 256 subscribers. Let's see where we're at now. 258. So I'm really appreciative of all of you who are hanging out with me today. And yeah, it means a lot to me. So, but I can only keep talking if there's good questions to answer. So let's see. Absorption, BTC. Huh. Thank you for the emojis. Whoever's doing that, I appreciate you. That really helps. Huh. Yeah, Moldovan, I'm not sure. Maybe you can explain the information you're putting on the chat a little bit more. So, like, I would say I'm a novice trader, so I don't know some of the stuff that are being put on the screen right now. And for the new people, maybe you can help explain what it is what you're sharing and what that means to you. Because more than anything, this is an educational thing. I am not a financial expert. I do hope that you learn something from this, but more than anything, we're talking about sensible and reasonable investing strategies more than anything. You could do the same thing on sports. You could do it on sports. For me is a little bit harder to gauge because somebody hits a home run in baseball, it changes everything in an instant. Like somebody scores a goal in football, it changes everything in an instant. So like that can happen on the crypto markets too, but you can at least see it happening in real time, usually. But you can apply all this to sports, to any other market. Pick a number, 85, I would say pick a number above 75% or 75 cents. And when something gets above 75 cents, buy it. Set a take profit at 99.9 and get ready to do a stop loss if it drops to 50, You can do it on anything. I like that this repeats every 15 minutes. I can get familiar with what's happening. At least I feel like it may be an illusion of control, but I feel like I have a better grasp of what's happening in real time. Okay. Definitely learn how to trade better watching these lives. That's awesome, Carlos. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear it too. So this shows who bought or sold the Bitcoins. If the green candle goes up, it'll show how many were actually sold. If the red, same thing, but on the heat map, you literally see where the blockage is. Okay. Well, don't type while you're driving, dude. I appreciate the effort. I'm going to, in between this live and the next live, I'll do some research. I'm going to share my email later on when you're not driving. You tell me when you're not driving, and I'm going to share my email. And maybe you can just give us the link or the name of the website in the chat when you're done driving, dude. When you're done driving. Okay? It's not worth it to get into an accident, have a horrible thing happen because you're typing while driving. Don't do it. Anyway, but when you're done driving, let me know, and we can share that website, and maybe we'll add it to the live stream. We'll get it on the screen. If that is more informative than the tape surf, we can switch to that. So, all right, where are we at? 5 minutes to go. 96 cents. 176. We're 60 away. The market has been pretty quiet, yeah? Pretty mellow. Be hard to imagine a downturn. That's why the price is now 97. All right, but it dropped. 34. This is why it's hard for me to chat and trade at the same time. You'll see me miss some trades because I'm focused on something else. But that's the tough part because in order to keep the numbers up, I got to keep talking have something for you to engage with. But it's challenging for me to trade and talk at the same time. But anyway, later on, when he's not driving, Moldovan is going to share the site that we can get the heat map, the order, whatever it is, map book. Maybe that's what it is. And if somebody else is not driving right now, wants to do a Google search and see if they can come up with what Moldovan is talking about, feel free to share that. All right, so we had a price drop. It felt like there was enough. We'll see. I've got my number at 120 for bailing on this. And it just bounced back a little bit, so we're okay. This is kind of a tight one. Pretty heavily invested in this, so if it hits 125, we're out now. So we're raising the stop loss to 125. Right now that would be a slight loss, and there we go. So I took a little risk, trying to keep the live entertaining. And anyway, it dropped below my price, and I took a stop loss. So all that's fine, you know. If anything, you know, if I don't have an audience, maybe I sit that one out. You know, maybe I'm like, eh. So anyway, it gives another opportunity to see my stop loss in action. And it was a good, you know, it's going to probably end up looking like it might be a good stop loss. It's definitely a good stop loss for me because it got down to 50-50. It got down to, you know, it got down to a terrible place for my strategy. So good stop loss. I probably risked a little bit too much money on such a close market. So it's all good. Lost a couple bucks. That's kind of how it's been the last hour or so. A little too close to call at the end. And as soon as we get back to being less too close to call at the end, you know, I might even be a little bit more aggressive. But that was kind of dicey. I was like, should I get in on this? It's like, it's close, but there's not much time left. So anyway, and sometimes you stick to the strategy, but you misjudge it just a little bit. In the end, I was right. You know, it would have turned out being right, but that's too close to call for me. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think it might be time to switch over to some music. And just focus on the trading for a little while. I'm actually past my time. It's actually time for me to take a break. I go from like noon or 1 Pacific time until about 4. We'll go 4:30 today. We'll do one more market. I'll talk through it. I'll just focus on the trading while I talk, not on any chat stuff. So, obviously, we got nothing to do until about 8 minutes to go because I don't get in before that. But we can at least talk about the strategy of like riding the trend or riding the wave to get some profit before it gets to the end. So let's say we see the order book. You see it starting to pile up with orders underneath, which is pushing the price up because it's so thin up here. It's more like it's just thin up here, so it wants to move in this direction. And so if you would have bought at 60, you saw this blockade of stuff over here and this thinness on top, you know, you could have made 10 cents real quick per contract on that. So you can do that as well, kind of like ride the trend in the middle of the market. But you kind of have to be sure that it's going to continue to move in that direction, which is, I'm only confident of that if we're like really close or outside of the Bollinger Bands, that I'm sure it's going to tend to want to move back. And even then, sometimes it doesn't happen. So it's like, that's why I tend to avoid mid-market, you know. And if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it really early. And maybe buy the side that goes to 55 cents right away. Because I think, you know, I think it'll get to 65 based on what I'm seeing. It'll get up to 65. I'll grab 10 cents and get out. But if I'm doing that, I'm doing like 5 contracts instead of 20. You know, I'm doing less percentage of my bankroll. But yeah, so we're holding, we're waiting. It already is up to 88, and we've got 80 clearance. So there is something to be said for getting in right now, but it's at 89 cents. I do not think at this moment it has 89% probability of happening. So that's why I don't get in now. Like, it's too early for that. If it gets to plus 100, that's a different story, and now we're getting close to that range. But, boy, 12 minutes is such a long time. So I'm not really, I mean, there's an argument to just get in when it goes above 100 in these conditions, but again, I'm not in a hurry to lose money. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in a much better position if I get in at 89 cents or even 94 cents with 7 minutes to go than 88 cents with 12 minutes to go. So even though it's at 89%, the market says 89% probability. I don't think that's accurate because it can move 100. It's already moved 100 in 4 minutes. You know what I mean? So it could easily move another 100 in the other direction. So not in a hurry to be involved. Probably 8 minutes will be the earliest. And even then, I'm not a fan too much. I heard you from friends. Whoa, dude, I'm starting to get word of mouth recommendations. Holy shit. I'm glad you did, Rayo Ag. I guess I could call you Ray. Is that cool? Like, I'm glad the word is getting around. The intention of this is to be a place for people to gather, to share information, to learn, grow, become better investors, and to use these predictive markets as investing tools, not as gambling sites. You know, this can be trading. A lot of people still use it as a gambling thing, but we're trading. We're finding high probability situations, scalping some money out of that, and watching the pennies add up. You know, 5 cents, 10 cents, 30 cents at a time, and just chink, 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 chink. And as the bankroll grows, so does the profit that you get. But the percentages should stay the same. Your risk relative to your portfolio should be pretty consistent in your strategy. For me, just the way my strategy works, because I have to invest so much to get a little bit, I do 2.5% of my bankroll if I'm like mildly confident in the position. So for me right now, that'll be 5 contracts. If I'm like I'm pretty confident, like not super confident, but like I'll do 5% of my bankroll. So that would be 10 contracts right now. And if I'm like super confident at the 7-minute mark, I'll do 20, which would be 10% of my bankroll. I will also do 25% of my bankroll or even half of my bankroll if it's late, almost a guaranteed lock, and I can put in 100 or put in $98, get $2 back at 100. Those are risky moves. Try to avoid them when possible. But if it's a sure thing and you're totally locked and you're like, you can do a stop loss if necessary, I will do that to just, rake in a little bit of cash on an absolute sure thing. But notice I did not put 100% of my bankroll ever on anything. And keep in mind, even if I'm in 50% of my bankroll, I have a stop loss that's like very, very hair trigger go. Like I'm not going to cash out even at 50 cents. So it's not really having half of my bankroll on the line. It's much less than that because my stop loss is in place to trigger. So if you have any questions about that, I did a video. It's my most recent, probably my best video so far. Hopefully the one on my updated strategy that I'm going to do in the next couple days will be my best video so far, because it will be a comprehensive, like all the tools I'm using, how I'm making decisions, all the things I'm talking to you about right now. All right, so let's look at this. 196, 70 up, 90% probability, absolutely. Let's make sure we get in. 93. All right, so we're in with 20 at 93. I've got some nice cushion away from the strike. I got 80 points, a little less now. So instead of talking, I got to do my stuff. 99.9 is my take profit. That'd be $1.35 in profit. And I go right away to my take profit and change it to 1. And now pick a price to bail. Before I do that, let me verify the strike. 121. So we're at 121. We're going to bail. At this moment, we'll bail at 150. Yeah, that would be kind of dangerous. So 150, we're out. Until 150, we're holding. If the price starts rising, we'll start raising that 150 to a higher number. But as of right now, we got a lot of time left. It may go down a little bit, but we don't want to overreact to that down. 50 still gives us a $30 cushion. But all that being said, I got to be ready to click confirm at any moment. So really all I'm doing now is watching this white box with the 194 on it right now. And I'm watching it closely and ready to click the button in a moment if I see it somehow out of nowhere drop out of the sky. Now the order book is going to help me see that too, because the Coinbase order book would drop real quick too. But as of right now, okay, there's a pretty decent drop. Not to 150 yet though. And you can see it dropped on Coinbase, but on other exchanges it went up. So the price actually got raised up. We're back at 190. Probability now is 96.6 on the market. We're still watching for, I think we're going to go to 160 now. Go to 160 and like hold. If it gets back up to 200, we might go to 170. But we're just reducing our risk every time we do this. Raise it up. We're still at 160. I don't mind quiet, but I definitely would appreciate some upward movement more. But yeah, I'm talking through all this, but if it's just me sitting here, I'm just chilling out, watching a number and getting ready to click a button. Like that's it. Like that's my strategy. It's pretty simple. So it does take some stress away, and I'm out. So it just dropped enough that I was like, yeah, nah. And I made 36 cents. This is just kind of how it's been this afternoon. It's like kind of mid. It's been a little bit rough, up and down, but I'm executing my strategy. And if I get a good string of like results that like stay up and don't crash back down close to the line, I'll start really making some good money. And in the meantime, I will avoid all these close calls. You know, I may miss some profits here and there, but I'm also going to avoid close calls. And in reality, looking back on this one, I probably could have just waited at the 150 mark and not raised it up because there's only 2 minutes left to go, or 3 minutes left to go. But anyway, as I've said, it's hard for me to talk and fully concentrate on the stuff. So anyway, it's been a really great session. We got up to 23, I think was the highest number. We're still hanging out at 13 people right now. It's been a great live to start the day. I always take about a 3-4 hour break in the middle of the day and then come back in the evening. I'm on the Pacific time, so I start up usually around 8 p.m. Pacific time, which would be 11 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm on twice a day, afternoon, which would be kind of late afternoon on the East Coast. I usually go from like noon or 1 till about 4. And then the evening is 8 to 11 midnight, somewhere in there. I do like for my strategy to trade late in the evenings when the market is a little quieter and a little bit more predictable. There's rarely news to react to on the market. It's generally pretty calm, and people aren't making big moves in the middle of the night usually. So up 4, nice. Thank you so much to all of you. We met our goal. We got to create a new goal because we're past 250 now. It was a great live for me. I hope it was for you. I hope you learned some stuff. And I'll be back in about 3 or 4 hours. We'll see you then.